By the morning, Diana is dead.
Lots of rich and powerful people's, richness is on the line here. There's a big, big motive.
I am convinced that I will change your mind by the end of this episode.
Are you?
And all the viewers.
That's such a weird thing to write.
I know.
That is a seriously weird thing to write.
Multiple witnesses recall seeing a man matching his description exiting the tunnel just after the crash and looking agitated.
That is very interesting, and consider me intrigued.
Peckish for answers. Mysteries and conspiracies.
Right, hello everyone. Welcome back to episode 14 of Peckish for Answers. It's me, Oscar, with Rhys and Rolf. Say hello.
Hi, guys.
So today you've got an interesting mystery / conspiracy, quite a large mystery and conspiracy. Can you guys got any guesses of what it could be?
Is it the mystery of Thomas Gledhill? You said it's very large.
No.
Is it the mystery of
Diana?
Yeah, well, you guys know it's the death of Princess Diana, which is one of I'd say biggest conspiracy theories. I'd say in the world, definitely in England.
Yeah, I'd probably say it is, because it is probably one of the biggest ones.
She was the world's princess.
Yeah, I'd say that and 9/11. Like when I think of conspiracy theory, I think of those two.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. Yeah,
but I especially think because this one's, it's England, so I don't know. I feel like I can relate to it more, and it's weird how like Charles is still alive, so it seems so he's king. He's king.
He's king.
So,
he's king now.
It seems so relatable. But yeah, so yeah, and we're also doing the word game again today, everyone. So if you haven't watched previously, then we each have been given a word, and we have to try and get the word into the podcast without the other people picking up on it, and then we have to try and guess each other's words at the end. So yeah, it's quite simple. But yeah, without further ado, have you guys got anything before I start reading, or
no? No, go straight for it, man.
All right, I'll open with a bit of I just want to do like a cold open to draw people in. So August 31st, 1997, just after midnight, a black Mercedes speeds through the streets of Paris, carrying one of the most famous women in the world. Minutes later, the car crashes in a tunnel beneath the city. By the morning, Diana is dead. The official explanation seems straightforward. A driver traveling at high speed and paparazzi in pursuit. A tragic accident. Except for millions of people around the world, it was not. Almost immediately, questions and theories began to emerge as people looked deeper into the complex life of the much-loved people's princess. Over the years, theories involving secret services, cover-ups, the royal family, and assassination plots have turned the tragic accident into one of the most revealing mysteries of modern history. And so today we'll examine what happened on that night, go through some of the facts and maybe some of the fiction, look at investigations and pick up some conspiracy theories that people have got regarding this. And so, yeah, this is the story of the death of Princess Diana. So I'll start with a little bit of backstory. We probably know who she is. Actually, before I start, do you guys have any existing just theories, like from what you've heard, like what like, not in depth, but do you guys?
There's like a theory of like, isn't there like the Queen wasn't a fan of her or something, so she's like just got to like get her out, mate. She's talking too much, mate. She's too popular than us, and it's not out. I'm not having it. Get her out, mate. But I don't know if Queen Liz would do that. I liked Queen Liz.
Yeah, she was the goat, man. She was the
goat. So I don't know. And also, I know that obviously that Charles and her, he never wanted to marry her. He was kind of forced to, and he was a bit of a dick to her. So maybe he's involved. But
seen that a little bit.
I know, really. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know that obviously Princess Diana was loved, and then they had a bit of a a divorce. The royal family wasn't looking too good. And so maybe they wanted to get rid of her. But I only know the theory that the royal family assassinated her. That's the only thing I'm aware of.
Okay. Yeah, you guys know
She
some.
was
But
around, just touching kids with AIDS and stuff, and they didn't like that.
yeah, yeah, she did do that.
Yeah, she did make the royal family look bad after they divorced. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
she did, and I'll get onto that. But yeah, it does go. There's a lot more layers than I thought initially. So yeah, I'll start. Also, it sounds like one of you quite hungry.
Yeah, I haven't eaten dinner, so it is rumbling right now. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with a bit of Diana's just early life, just a brief overview. So before she became Princess Diana, Diana Spencer, which was her name, she was born on July the 1st, 1961, into the aristocratic Spencer family. While not a royal herself, her family had long-standing ties to the royal household, and she grew up within a similar upper-class sort of social circles. She had a relatively normal upbringing, to those standards, attending boarding schools where she liked dancing, music, and sports. And she was often described as shy, kind, and compassionate. After leaving school, she then worked in London as a nanny and a nursery assistant. I think she's also the first person to, something like she was the first person to marry into royalty that had like a previous job or something at that point.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So the first time she met Prince Charles was in 1977 when she was 16. Dodgy dealer. At the time, Charles was dating her older sister, Sarah Spencer.
Charles, mate, he's a dodgy guy.
How old was Charles?
So Charles is
really
at this point he's late 20s. So there's an age gap between, which I didn't realize initially how much of an age gap there's. I think there's 12 years between Diana and Charles.
That's a lot.
Charles, mate.
Yeah. So a few years later, Charles and Diana began crossing paths more often. This was when she wasn't 16 anymore.
He's waited.
18 now.
Yeah, 18.
He's like, when's your birthday? Have you turned 18 yet? Have you turned 18 yet?
Yeah, they crossed paths multiple times until she turned 18.
Yeah. So yeah, they started crossing paths a bit more often, and Diana's reputation for being gentle, discreet, and uncontroversial made her an appealing match for the future king. And around this time, she'd also reportedly developed a strong admiration for him. I think a lot of people in the country, a lot of young women had a crush on Charles. I think it was a bit of a...
It's like how lots of people had a crush on Prince William before he lost his hair.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Yeah. So by 1980, so a few years later, the relationship began to develop a bit more seriously, though still in a highly controlled public environment. They were seen at social events, and speculation started growing about potential engagement. However, early on there were some complications. Charles was still emotionally attached to Camilla Parker Bowles, a long-term relationship that had continued despite royal pressure. So this is one thing I didn't realize, is that he was dating Camilla at one point before, was seeing her, and then went to Diana.
Did not know that either. That is interesting. No wonder people don't like her very much.
Yeah. Diana later said she was aware of Camilla's presence early on, which created insecurity from the beginning. Despite this, the engagement moved quickly, and Charles proposed in February 1981 after only a small number of meetings. Diana was 19, and according to her, they had met just 13 times before becoming engaged. Diana was seen as the perfect princess, and it's often cited that Charles felt pressured by the royal family to marry her. So, yeah, they got they got things going pretty quickly.
That's crazy.
The announcement made her instantly one of the most famous women in the world. The public embraced her, seeing her as a young, relatable, and warm woman. She quickly stood out from the rest of the royal family due to her emotional openness and her ability to connect with people. At the same time, she struggled privately. Diana later spoke about battling bulimia and body image issues, which she linked to emotional stress in the marriage and intense public scrutiny. She revealed that she'd thrown herself down the stairs whilst pregnant with Prince William due to her mental struggles. So I also didn't know that. Yeah.
As in, with intention to kill the baby, or what?
It was from what I read, it was kind of like attention-y thing, like to show. Yeah, for attention is what things said. She didn't want to kill the baby, but she was just a bit mentally unstable. So she, threw herself down the stairs. So yeah, things, they're married at this point. They just got married, but yeah, things were on the ropes already. During the early years of the marriage, they tried to mix public admiration, but also had their private marriage strains. So whilst they performed their royal duties together, Diana described feeling isolated and unprepared for royal life. Charles, meanwhile, was often emotionally distant, and the gap between them gradually widened. During their engagement interview in 1981, when asked if they were in love, Diana said, "Of course," and Charles said, "Whatever in love means," which...
yeah,
it doesn't seem like
he's trying to be edgy. He's trying to be edgy.
Yeah. I can see him saying that.
Mate, he just wanted Camilla, don't he? He just wanted Camilla.
Well, it seems like it. I think he was probably in love with Camilla, but the royal family wanted him to marry Diana because she seemed more
nice.
Like, I read somewhere that like Camilla was a bit of a tomboy, so she didn't like suit the whole princess stuff or whatever. So, I mean, she's queen now, so yeah. By the mid-1980s, the marriage was under visible strain. The births of Prince William in 1982 and Prince Harry in 1984 brought happiness, but did not resolve deeper issues. Diana later said that she felt closest to Charles during her pregnancy with Harry, but the emotional distance soon returned. So they had a brief spell of being fairly happy, but then it started falling apart again, really. By the late 1980s and into the early 90s, the breakdown was impossible to hide. They increasingly appeared separately, and Diana became more independent, focusing heavily on charity work. And in 1992, the couple separated. And although they didn't formally divorce until 1996, the relationship had effectively ended in 1992 when they separated. It was like a thing, well, and it still is, I think, that the sort of royal family are supposed to, well, be sort of the head of the, I don't know, some Orthodox, like the Christian church or whatever. So they shouldn't be divorcing. It should be like I don't think it was legal for the royal family to divorce until like a few years before their divorce. So that's why they
really,
yeah, something like that.
Because they're not the head of the Church of England. And
yes.
What about King Henry VIII?
That was that church was literally set up to so he could divorce his wife.
Yeah, that it mentioned something about Henry VIII. I can't remember. I don't know if he changed the law and then it came back in.
Did Henry?
If by a few years before they divorced, you mean about 500 years? Then yeah, I guess so.
No.
Maybe Henry VIII was such a joker. He was like, right, I'm allowed to divorce, and then
I think it was
before he died. He was like, right, none of my kids, you're not divorcing.
I think it was that. I think it was
screw
that.
you, mate. I've divorced. You're not allowed to.
But there was, it was either not allowed or it was just like, very heavily.
I'm sure it must have just been very heavily frowned upon.
Maybe.
Yeah, because the Church of England is literally founded on
No, I don't know. I don't really
Glendables.
give a shit. But
all right, mate.
So they're basically relationship's done. Despite this, Diana was obviously the people's princess, as she was known. She won the hearts of many people worldwide, and she was seen as a less distant royal figure and more as someone who felt emotionally close to the public. Part of that comes down to the visibility that she had. Like she lived a lot of her life in front of the cameras, but it was more the way she chose to use her camera time. She often showed affection openly, whether it meant kneeling to speak to people at eye level or reaching out to children in hospitals. And one of her major, I guess, like PR things that she did that really impressed a lot of people is her whole AIDS visit. She opened that hospital, and then there was that AIDS outbreak, and people were like in masks and stuff, and she just went in without a mask and shook hands with AIDS patients.
She had actual brain.
Yeah, because people thought that it was like an airborne or physical contact.
Yeah, she
like
did a lot to reduce the stigma.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people really respected her for that. So yeah, that's basically just the history. I mean, there's some podcasts I've listened to go into incredible detail, but that was about as brief as I could make it. So,
can I ask a question?
Any question? Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I don't know. You might tell us in later on, but did she remarry after Charles?
No.
Did she have a boyfriend or engage?
Well, yes, and I will get onto that quite shortly.
Okay. Because obviously, I don't know. Also, do you know when? Because obviously, Charles remarried to Camilla. When did he do that? Do you know? Was that like before her death, or was it after her death?
That was after, but
interesting.
I'm not sure exactly the date, but it would have been a few years. It would have been at least a few years after.
Her death. Okay.
I think it was probably early 2000s.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Tis.
Yeah. Thank you for that brief explanation.
That's right. It's my job. So yeah, I go. I go on to the events of the crash now, unless you guys want to bring anything up before this. So I'll do the crash, and then we'll have a discussion, and maybe a break, and then we'll go on to the theories and stuff at the end. So
yeah,
anything before the crash I go into?
I just hope that she's alright after the crash.
Spit it out.
Just was she still close with her children, obviously, William?
Yeah, she loved her. She was a very good mother. She loved spending her time with her two children. That's a lot of a lot of why she lived really was just to look after her children. She loved them. So no qualms with her children, and they loved her as well. As you probably know, but yeah.
All right, cool. No, I've got nothing.
All right. So by the summer of 1997, Diana and Charles were fully separated and had divorced. The previous year. Their communication was minimal and focused mainly on the children, William and Harry. Charles had continued his relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, while Diana had become a globally recognized humanitarian figure. In private, though, she was in a relationship with Dodi Fayed at the time of her death, a relationship that attracted intense media attention. So Dodi Fayed, his father is Mohammed, I think is Al Fayed, he used to own Harrods up until a few years ago. He's a very rich businessman. Yeah, money. Yeah. He was pretty rich. So on Saturday, the 30th of August, 1997, Diana flew to Paris with Dodi after spending some time on his father's yacht. Come on. I think actually they bought the yacht just for Diana to come on holiday, which is pretty cool. I think it was like a 15 mil yacht. and he bought it just for the holiday.
That's pretty baller, to be fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Yeah. So basically, yeah, she flew to Paris after holidaying on the yacht, and they intended to have some dinner and stay the night in Paris. But due to the massive amounts of paparazzi, plans had to change multiple times throughout the evening. So they visited the Ritz Hotel, which was also owned by Dodi's father.
Mate, he owns everything, this guy.
Yeah, he's a baller. And then they planned to go out for dinner, but due to the paparazzi, they had to turn back and eat at the Ritz Hotel. So they then came up with a plan, which was to stay the night at an apartment owned by Dodi's father, not far from the hotel, in an effort to reside somewhere a little bit more private for the night and escape the paparazzi. Henry Poole, who was deputy head of security at the Ritz, had been instructed he would drive Diana and Dodi to the apartment in a black Mercedes. So he wasn't a chauffeur, he was just deputy head of security at the hotel. A decoy vehicle was placed at the front of the Ritz, which then departed, which successfully attracted many of the photographers. Diana and Dodi then left the hotel via a rear entrance. Henry was driving with Trevor Rhys Jones, who was a member of the Fiat's security team, in the passenger seat, and then Dodi and Diana were in the back 2 seats. And it should be noted that no one in the vehicle was wearing a seatbelt. Then at 23 minutes past midnight, whilst driving at high speeds, Henry Poole began to lose control of the car in the entrance to the Pointe de l'Alma tunnel. Reports stated that the Mercedes and a white Fiat Uno made contact, with the Mercedes then careering into the 13th pillar of the tunnel. It was estimated that the car was travelling at 65 miles per hour, which was almost double the speed limit at the time of the crash. There were a number of photographers on motorcycles pursuing the car before the crash, and they immediately swarmed the vehicle. Whilst some urgently rushed to the care of the casualties, a number of the paparazzi took the opportunity to take more photos. And I've written in brackets here, I've written in brackets in caps, absolute scum. Because I was going to say, it must be one of the most ratty jobs in the world,
I hate
being a paparazzi. They just have no respect for personal space. And imagine seeing someone basically die in a car crash and you're just there taking pictures because you just want to
they're just rats. I hate them.
So scummy. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Well, as a result, in total, 7 paparazzi were arrested and rolls of film were confiscated and discarded. Yeah.
What were they arrested for, though?
Because you'd love it, wouldn't you?
I'm just intrigued. I'm just interested.
I don't know what the exact charge was, but it was like interfering with
a crime scene.
A crime scene. Yeah,
you can't just go in, take pictures.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right if you're trying to save someone's life, but if you just stood there, I think there were people trying to get.
What if you're taking pictures as you're getting them out of the thing?
Oh, what, the sunglasses, like the camera ones or something? The ones that take pictures. Yeah, the Google Glass. Yeah,
the Meta Ray-Bans.
Yeah, but I don't think they were invented back then, were they? So,
well, no, mate, they've only just come out a few years ago.
Yeah, I know. I was being sarcastic.
All right, mate.
So.
Right,
almost done with this information. Police and ambulances soon arrived. Dodi and Henry were pronounced dead at the scene. Rhys Jones had suffered facial injuries but remained conscious, and Diana was conscious initially but had major internal injuries. Her last words were, "My God, what's happened?" She was taken to hospital, but due to her severe internal injuries, she was pronounced dead at 4 a.m. the next morning. The official explanation was that the crash was caused by a combination of negligent driving, drink driving, and the pursuing paparazzi. Henry Poole was found to have 3.5 times the legal blood alcohol level, and it's also thought that none of the passengers were wearing seatbelts, increasing the severity of the injuries caused by the crash. And I'll stop there. That's quite a lot, isn't it?
I mean, it sounds like...
Could you say that again?
yeah. I got up to when they got married.
I zoned out the whole thing, yeah.
I mean,
so
to
in
me...
August 61 or something?
Well, that's before she was born, I think. Well, that was when she was born.
It sounds to me that, to be honest, it's just an accident. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like, the guy's drunk. He's over the limit by 3 point whatever times.
Yeah. What an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I think it's shut case, mate. It's just,
But do you think,
accident.
I mean, at this point, something that I didn't mention is that Diana had written, well, she hadn't written, but there was a book released called Diana, which was released as they were going through their breakup, where she revealed certain things about the royal family and had secret recordings, which they didn't like. There was also... not strong enough.
No. Yeah, continue. You got me.
There was also numerous sort of interviews. It was a bit of a back and forth between Diana and Charles as to who, like a PR battle, as to who would come out on top and who would be favoured in the eyes of the British public. And obviously, Diana won quite considerably. So it was just a lot of back and forth.
What I find hard though is if it was the royal family, which those are like they have the motive. Sure, they have the motive to do it, but like, what, they're gonna just like make this guy drunk? Are they like? They just don't. I don't really understand that. Like, I mean, he died, didn't he?
Yeah, he did die.
He died. Why is he gonna put his line on?
Yeah, only one of them did survive.
For the Rhys guy.
Yeah, Rhys. Something. But he's had major head trauma and doesn't remember anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it seems the fact that he was like, it's 3 times over the limit. Is that drunk? I don't really know. Is that like...
Yeah,
it's 3 times over the French limit, double the English
that
limit.
Would be... Wait, sorry. 3.5 times, because I only know English limit, because I can tell you what the English limit is.
It was double the English limit, which is about probably 5 pints, I guess.
Yeah, double the English limit would be 5 pints. Yeah, that changes things.
Actually,
that's not that bad.
That does change things. That's not that bad. Yeah, 5 pints. You like, obviously, we're not saying drink 5 pints and go drive. Obviously not. But you could do it.
You could definitely, on 5 pints, you could definitely drive. And you should be. I mean, you're definitely inhibited, but you're not like drunk.
That does change things a lot. Actually,
you're pretty. I would say you are definitely.
You're a little bit,
but you're not
tips.
I was going to
definitely drunk, but yeah.
I was going to save this for after the break, but I can give you sort of just maybe 1 minute of this is quite juicy information, which might spark some sparks.
Yeah,
so
go on,
I give this. Okay, so one of the most frequently discussed pieces of this entire case comes from a private letter Diana wrote in 1993. It was a handwritten note to her butler, Paul Burrell, and he's given multiple interviews. I think he's still alive. And in it, she described feeling unsafe and specifically mentioned a fear that she might one day be killed in a staged car crash, something designed to look like an accident rather than an attack. She also wrote about the idea that if she were gone, it could potentially clear the way for Prince Charles to remarry. So I've got her note here that I will read. I am sitting here at my desk today in October, longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and to hold my head high. This particular phase of my life is the most dangerous. Charles is planning an accident in my car, brake failure and serious head injury in order to make the path clear for Charles to remarry. I have been battered, bruised and abused mentally by a system for 15 years now, but I feel no resentment. I am strong inside, and maybe that is a problem for my enemies. Thank you, Charles, for putting me through such hell and for giving me the opportunity to learn from the cruel things you have done to me. That's her note.
And we're sure that she wrote this.
Yeah, she gave it to her butler.
He didn't just write it afterwards.
This is well known that she wrote. How can she write it after she's dead?
No, did he not? He didn't forge it?
No, handwriting experts have confirmed that this is Diana's handwriting. She wrote it. It was a handwritten letter.
That's such a weird thing to write.
I know.
That is a seriously weird thing to write.
It is a very weird thing to write, because maybe then she's that, I've changed my opinion in the whole. I'm going wish blah 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 blah.
I can't lie.
Like,
I kind of went into this mystery just completely being like, oh yeah, like the going into this conspiracy, just completely thinking in my head like, okay, you'll say some things that sound mildly convincing, but I'm not going to change my tune the whole time. But that is very interesting, and consider me intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, you don't just write a letter like that, unless. Well, someone is trying to, kill you.
Because when you first said about that, I thought you were going to say like, oh yeah, she wrote a letter at one point, just being like, oh, I'm worried I'm going to die in a car crash. It's going to look staged. And I was like, yeah, all right. So what? The thing is though, like it's in some ways it's kind of just completely irrelevant, because like she doesn't know, like if they were going to kill, let's say that the royals did want to kill her, they're just going to do something and stage it like an accident. Obviously they're going to do that if they plan on killing her. Now, if she's worried about them she's probably paranoid that they might do that, because she understands that she's a big threat to them. So she is also, equally paranoid that she is going to be murdered in a staged accident. Those two things are just like kind of true. Like that's how the royals would do it, and that's what she's paranoid about. Now, it's not too much of a jump to, like, out of all the ways that she could predict that she will be murdered in this false accident, it's not too much. Like, one of those options is in a car crash. And to be fair, like that's, I mean, what other options are there? Made to look like she fell out of a tall building.
Well, I would have said suicide would be quite a strong one, because if she's suicide, meant to be unstable, then
made to look like suicide would be good. Made to look like she fell out of a tall building, a car crash. I'm sure there's a couple others. Those are just the first few that come to my head. Now, when she's sitting there paranoid, she could have written about they're going to make me look like I killed myself, or she could have written they're going to make me look like I fell out of a building, or she could have written they're going to make me look like I died in a car crash. So the fact that there's a like, out of all the things she could have written, firstly she was paranoid, and out of all the things she could have written, she was paranoid about. A car crash is not that hard to believe. So with that in mind, the fact that she did die in a car crash actually isn't. I think it's just a coincidence in a lot of ways. Like, it's not that insane. Also, in that thing she wrote, they're going to cut my brake thing or whatever. My brake.
Brake failure. Yeah.
Brake failure. So, and that's not what happened. So that's kind of removed. So she obviously doesn't know. This is not like something that she's overheard and then she knows that is exactly what's going to happen, and then that exact thing happens. That would be a bit more interesting. But the fact that she's just speculating about this, like the only thing that these two things have in common is that it's a car accident. Okay. Yeah. If you're paranoid that someone's going to stage an accident on you, which she obviously would be, anyone would be in her situation, a car accident is not that surprising a one to come up with, and she got the facts wrong. So I've changed my mind. I don't think so. I think it's a big question. So obviously,
but the whole thing when you said that she got the facts wrong, maybe she didn't overhear it herself, but she heard it from someone who heard it from someone who heard it from someone, and it's going like that chain of almost Chinese whispers.
And nobody in that chain came out and said afterwards, yeah, I told Diana that. Or
I don't know. Maybe Oscar hasn't told me all the information, bud.
Yeah, bud. But no, they didn't.
Oh, but maybe they were scared. They didn't, they didn't want to step on the toes.
Maybe they were. Maybe they got some money to not say anything.
Yeah, exactly. They could have been hush money, mate.
Maybe Charles said he'd marry them if they stay quiet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's I think
I get what you're saying.
I think it's one of those things where like you make the connections in your head to make it seem bigger than it is, but it's actually not that deep. Like when you look at it really logically, it's a very, very normal coincidence to happen. Obviously, she's going to be paranoid. Obviously, they're going to stage it as an accident. And she's got all the details wrong. The only sort of thing that's like interesting is that she predicted the fact it would involve a car. But that is it. Everything else is like makes sense.
But take that letter away, Weber. But the fact that when Oscar said she was about to release a book with like secret.
No, she had released. This has been out. It wasn't. She didn't release the book, but the book had recordings that she had recorded. So she had privately recorded.
But they got released, didn't they?
Yeah. So
from that perspective, it's not like if she was
I was under the impression that it was going to be released and then they killed her.
No. So this book would be a bit more.
I'm with Rolf then. Yeah, I'm trapped back in me.
Okay. If she'd said, "I've got some stuff that like is going to destroy the royal family," then she got killed. And then I would be like, "Oh shit!" But that's not really the case.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think the only sort of incentive the deepest incentive that I can see is that she was going to cause the royal family to collapse, like the whole monarchy to collapse, which is plausible. If she continued doing her thing, she was straight up a thorn in the side. People always like Diana more, and therefore the royal family is always going to be in her shadow. And the royal family, like right now, is people are talking about it ending. So very plausible that with her being alive, it could have collapsed. So their entire thing is like that is lots of rich and powerful people's richness is on the line here. There's a big motive,
and like the whole fact that Charles he could obviously remarry, but it would look really bad on him to remarry.
It would have been frowned upon.
If it'd be very if he's unpopular already, he'd be even more unpopular if he remarries while she's alive. So get rid of her.
That is true, but if if he's thinking about that, then he's the fact that he remarries Camilla anyway means that
after her death.
Yeah, but that looks so bad. So I don't think.
I don't think. But he was with. Like he was, as soon as they split, Oscar said that him and Camilla were like, talking and stuff again, and like.
Well, they were back. Yeah, they were back together pretty much.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Pretty much.
So
he already looks bad. Like he might. So he's kind of waiting almost. If he got married after her death, it's a bit weird. Like, I don't know. That I get what you're saying totally, and I'm in two minds about it because. Yeah, it's weird. It could be just I don't know. I'm two minds.
Yeah. Also, Camilla was always involved. There's a quote from Diana, which is like, someone's asking her like why the marriage sort of broke down, and she was like, "Well, when there's three of you in a marriage, it gets quite crowded." Meaning that Camilla was basically always there.
He must have cheated on her then. Like I reckon.
Yeah. Well, I think in the end, I mean, because they only got divorced in like 1996, technically. Both of them.
I mean, I know, but cheated. I mean before that, I reckon Charles was good. I'm off for the weekend, and then he went to Camilla's and did the dirty deed. And
I think she thought that he did multiple times. I think she said that he did, but I don't know if that's ever been proved. But it's quite irrelevant.
Well, so the thing as well is like after they separated, did Diana like linger around in the castle and stuff, or in their lives for a bit longer, or did she immediately? No, did she immediately leave?
She had some. I mean, they got loads of properties like the royal family, so she wasn't staying in the same place as Charles. She'd only sort of link up to meet for like meeting with the children and stuff like that. Would be the only time I guess they crossed paths, but they were basically living independent lives. She was seeing different people. Like she had a couple flings. He was with Camilla, so they were just living separate lives when they were.
Yeah, I imagine they'd basically stop seeing. Like you said, they won't see each other at all.
Yeah,
they seen separately.
Yeah, it was over. I think she'd had before this guy Dodie. She'd had two other like partners in
Yeah.
between separating with Charles. But obviously the divorce only came in 96. So. Was it 96? I think so, yeah.
That's what you said, yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I ultimately, where I'm sitting here is there's a big motive, but I just think at current, there is just no evidence for the royal family carrying it out. All I'm hearing is big motive, and that letter about the thing that she wrote, I completely dismiss it.
Okay. And that is good because I am convinced that I will change your mind by the end of this episode.
Oh, are you?
And all the viewers, because I was similar. And when I've done this research, I have been slightly swayed. So,
interesting. Interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Good. All right. We'll go for a break now. And then, we'll find out after the break. All right. Welcome back everyone. So we'll resume from where we left off. So just a small little recap. So Princess Diana's in Paris with her fang Dodie. They were going to go out for dinner, but
hey, I have dinner here.
That wasn't the cue. That was not
it's the cue now, baby. The cue now. Welcome to Rhys's Food Corner. I knew I'd jump in.
I was gonna call you a hairy. I was gonna call you a hairy goblin, and then that was your cue. But
okay. Well, you mentioned food. You can't mention food and not let me.
He's hungry, man. He's
hungry. I'm hungry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Sorry, viewers. Anyway, today, guys, it's a bit different. All right, Rhys's Food Corner today.
It looked like a bit of a snack.
Hey, don't give anything away.
Oh, sorry.
Obviously, I've been a big fan of Hearty Food Co. recently.
A big fan.
Big fan. But I went to Tesco actually earlier because I was like, I need something for food. Rhys's Food Corner. That was just I've eaten all. I've done it. There's no in my local big Tesco.
You know what you could do?
There was no Hearty Food Co. So I went down the aisle, the frozen section, and I found something. I think I might go test and see if it's actually all right. So, yeah. Elsker, sorry, I did cut you off there. What are you going to say?
I was going to say you could just start sifting through the reduced section. I could find you some nice gems.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll try that. But anyway, this week we've got some. So this is a little. These are frozen, by the way. So these are. So we've got little boxes, and they're called. I don't know if you can see that. Thai Cube. It's called. So I've got a sweet and sour chicken with jasmine rice. And I was very hungry when I went to Tesco. So I also got some spring rolls as well. Oh. And this has got 10 red curry spring rolls. They're spring rolls with warming Thai red curry filling. How much do you think these cost altogether?
Oh,
I don't know, £1 or something?
£5 together, I'd say.
£3,
okay.
Actually. Okay. So a little bit more on the pricey side.
They look well. You're moving up in the world.
But I'm moving up in the world. The Hearty Food Co., did be well. But...
So do you oven them, or how do you warm
So you oven the spring rolls, but this whole thing. So I put the box in the mic. Yeah, frozen. I put it in the microwave.
Oh, is it cardboard there?
Yeah, it's cardboard. And then I basically there's a little box inside with the sweet and sour chicken. I take that out, leave the rice on the side in the box to steam, and then I put that bad boy, the sweet and sour chicken bad boy, back in. So. You can obviously eat it off a plate, but I thought, I'll be authentic and eat out of the box.
It's like a little takeaway box, yeah.
Yeah,
so... It's like the ones you used to get at school, Nick, do you remember?
No, I had a packed lunch.
Oh, of course you did.
Of course you did. Posh twat. Anyway.
It's cheaper.
So, this is actually a little bite there. Just going to go for a little bite.
Well, how does it taste?
It's wait there. Just a spring roll.
Fucking hell.
Are you combining them together, the spring roll and the thing, as one collective rating?
That's, I'm getting a lot of flavour here, boys. A lot of flavour.
Well, compared to hearty food, I'm not surprised.
This is really good. I don't know if you boys like sweet and sour chicken, but
I like sweet and sour chicken.
It's okay.
I think it's.
I'm not a big fan of sweet things on.
I love
food.
Sweet and sour chicken. So when I saw that, it's pretty good. I mean, sweet and sour chicken, I'll put it in B. I've had better.
Okay.
It's all right. Like it's all right.
I
think what lets it down is the jasmine rice.
Oh,
it's very
yeah. What is
I
that?
quite like my rice quite fluffy and stuff. It's not. It's quite like I think it's almost like sticky rice.
Oh, I like sticky rice. That's my jasmine rice is quite sticky.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
Well, you want like basmati rice?
Yeah, I love basmati.
Oh, it's so boring.
Yeah, basmati rice.
Basmati, I used to get it. Really?
Oh yeah, it's so good. It's so fluffy.
Rice, yeah.
It's nice. It's just like every grain is individual. Oh, so good.
Yeah, but it goes everywhere.
Every grain is individual.
It doesn't clump together. Like I used to hate sticky rice, and I don't get sticky rice. I get jasmine rice, but it's just nice. It kind of clumps together. It's like katsu curry rice, which is like why I like it. I love katsu curry. So.
I do like katsu curry, but yeah. But this thing is going in S tier. The spring rolls.
Spring rolls.
Oh,
really?
They are really good.
How many do you get?
You get 10.
10 bite size.
This was a quid, and then the other thing was about £2 something. So
is it enough for a whole meal?
No. Well,
what? Both combined?
Well, both combined, definitely, really good.
Oh, good.
This is really nice. Like I was really scared when I saw the 2 chilies because I have no spice tolerance. But
maybe it's out of 10.
But it's nice. It's a nice bit of spice. It's nice. Really good. So if you're in Tesco, get these bad boys. Yeah, they're really good.
It's like when I was in Bali, I got a takeaway and they had the same dish on the menu 10 times. And it was just spice level, but I didn't know if 10 was spicy or 1 was spicy. So I got a 5 and a 6.
That is so dumb.
Yeah, I got a 5 and a 6, but I should have just taken the bullet and gone 1 and 10 because I would have securely got one good one. 5 and 6 were both insanely spicy, so I still don't know what was both spicy.
One is definitely when is the most
spicy? That could be the most spicy. The most spicy. It's the most, so it's number 1. No, I agree that it's most likely not.
Here's our dishes. We're ranking them by spice level. That's crazy.
Go up the spice level.
I know, I agree, but I just had a doubt, and I thought, well, 5 and 6, like they're going to be medium, and I like a little bit of spice. So I was like, well, if it's a little bit of spice, then that's fine. So I just went 5 and 6.
You also just ask.
It was on like Grab, the app. I wasn't in there.
Oh, you ordered food.
Yeah.
That's quite funny. That is quite funny.
Yeah, and I couldn't drink it. I didn't have any water with me. It was like night. It was like midnight. And you can't drink the tap water, so I was dying that night.
And you didn't order a drink?
No, I didn't. No, that's pretty stupid. But
that was very stupid of me.
Yeah, it's quite funny. All right.
Yes. That's Rhys food for today. Back to Oscar, who's gonna try and convince me and Rolf that
I will convince you. Yeah. Well, I didn't say that, but
okay.
No, it probably is, but yeah. All right, let's go ahead. So, I'll see. Last I left you, I read you that note, which aroused you slightly, but you weren't fooled. So,
no,
I will continue with other compelling pieces of evidence and facts. So, Henry Poole. Who was the driver that died, who was drunk. So it was found that Henry Poole was 3.5 times the legal blood alcohol limit, like I mentioned previously. CCTV images show Henry walking around the hotel normally and fully aware, showing no signs of intoxication. He went up the stairs, tied his shoelaces, and he seemed perfectly sober on these CCTV videos. However, a number of witnesses did say that they saw Paul consuming alcohol that evening, but the volume was unclear. Also, Henry Poole was on a salary of about 30 grand at the time. However, upon investigation, they found that his bank balance, which was spread around 15 different bank accounts, was 200,000 euros. And he was carrying around 1,500 euros in cash at the time. French and British authorities do not know where this money came from, and it is widely speculated that Henry Poole could have been linked to MI6. So that's the first bit of info there.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly say on that, that whole thing about, he was like acting sober. He's only had about 5 pints. You can definitely act sober. On 5 pints. You can be, you're intoxicated and, you shouldn't drive, obviously, but you can definitely, to a CCTV, to anything, you can definitely seem like you're sober. So I think that's completely irrelevant.
Yeah, and also, like, if he's an MI6 or he's been paid to do this job, he died. He didn't, it's really hard as a driver to try and crash to kill the people behind you.
Yeah.
Like, that's so difficult because you're literally in the most vulnerable position of the car.
And also this idea, the whole thing about £200,000 across multiple bank accounts,
it's not that, like, he could just have like that. He could just be saving, like, 30 grand back then is quite a decent. Paid job.
I mean, in 15 different accounts, I do think slightly weird, but I agree that there's nothing.
You get every time you open a new bank, you get a bonus. So
no, but
that's something you do. Yeah.
But it could be that he's got dodgy links to, I don't know, crime or something, like drugs or something like that, or whatever. Doesn't mean he was MI6.
Okay.
Or anything. So.
All right, fine. Next. So, excuse me, a man called Richard Tomlinson, who was a former MI6 officer, claimed in a sworn statement that Britain's MI6 had been involved in the crash. He claimed that one or more of Diana's bodyguards were in fact working for MI6. He also backed this up by saying that the scenario Diana died in was eerily similar to a previous plan to kill former Serbian leader Slobodan Milosevic. He said that a previous plan had been thought up to kill this Serbian leader, which involved using a strobe gun to flash a bright light into a tunnel to cause a crash. Yes.
Can I ask, did this guy get fired from the MI6, or did he just leave on his own?
I left it out to make it more interesting, but he actually got arrested. Go on.
No. Okay, just say that. I'll say what I was thinking.
He got arrested for, I can't remember the exact charge, but it was a breach of.
This is absolutely ridiculous.
You've not listened yet.
Just hear him out.
It was a breach of basically like confidential information.
So then he decides, what, if you're going to keep me out for breach of confidential information, I got a whole lot more of that game.
Exactly.
No. He made this stuff up, mate. He absolutely made this stuff up.
You don't know. He might have
because he got a little bit of money from the press to say this, I've got a big story. I was MI6, blah, 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 blah. This guy's an absolute he's bollocks.
Okay.
Yeah. I've just, when you said that story, it literally reminded me. I've heard that before. Good thing I completely forgot about it for this. But I remember hearing about that, how it was for a previous plan. And obviously the whole strobe lighting thing is so that they can pretend it was the paparazzi.
Yeah.
The flashing lights.
Yeah. The counter to this whole flashing light theory is that if there was a large flashing sequence in the tunnel, then other drivers would have seen it. So that's true. To that.
Yeah, I think that is interesting, but again, there is a massive motive to make stuff up in this story. Like, this is huge.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's been fired means he has very few repercussions to saying these things. Well, obviously he's got big repercussions, but he has less repercussions to saying these things. And I don't know what his incentives would be, but it's very
money,
grey.
mate. Money, incentives, money, probably.
Yeah,
pays for a big story.
But that's interesting. That is interesting.
Okay.
Who did he say which one of the bodyguards did he say was working for the MI6?
So he said he didn't. He said he suspected that. What was his name? Rhys.
The one who died.
Guy. Yeah.
the one
the one that survived. He said that he thought he did, and then he also said that he thought Henry Paul had links to the French equivalent and/or MI6.
That's a lot of.
That's
a lot of
links.
It's a lot of,
that's a lot of links and tenuous links, and he's the only one to say this. Like that's that's way too.
Why do the French care about this? Like, why do the French Secret Intelligence Service care about Diana dying? Well, I don't care.
Well, because it was initially their investigation, so it's on their turf, I guess.
No, but I'm saying, why would they want to kill her?
Well, they
have no
they wouldn't, but they would have to, if it was some sort of cover up. Surely they'd likely be involved because they just have to. It's in
I wouldn't have thought so at all.
No.
I would have thought so. If it's got to do with the Secret Service, then you do not involve the other country. Yep. You do it. It's all covered up. I mean, you cover your tracks really well, and the other country never finds out.
I don't think what I'm saying is, this guy came out and said about the MI6 involvement. You said that the driver, he said he suspected the driver had French secret intelligence links, but I'm saying it makes no sense for the French intelligence service to get involved in trying to murder Diana because they have nothing to gain from it. MI6, I can see, they want to try and protect the royal family, maybe. Like, the French, they don't care.
Yeah, but Rhys, he's saying that he thinks it's because, the fact they're carrying this out on French soil means they need to get the French involved so that they are aware and that the French don't basically blow the case open for them.
That's stupid. That's ridiculous. This guy, is he alive?
I don't know. You can try and find him if you like.
I want to talk to this guy. He's an absolute idiot. Well, enough of him. Next, please.
All right, next. Well, these two next ones, I think, one of the more interesting, likely ones.
Oh, you're running out of time to convince us.
Especially the second one. Okay. So these two revolve around the white Fiat Uno that was suspected to have possibly collided with the Mercedes. So the white Fiat Uno that some say was in a collision with the Mercedes that Diana died in that night had still not been tracked down.
Wait, some say? As in like it wasn't it caused its crash. It didn't actually.
It's not as in it was a head-on collision. It like clipped like a.
The white car still drove off.
Yeah. That wasn't that wasn't in the crash. So but people reported that it may have collided. So that had not been tracked down or confirmed as to which car that was yet. So James Anderson, who was a photographer, owns a white Fiat Uno, and he was summoned by French police to give his account as his car matched the description that some people gave. Anderson was able to back up an alibi with documentation to prove he was not near the scene of the crash that night. But interestingly, his Fiat did have a dent in it, which was claimed to be from an accident 2 years prior. A couple of years after this, so after he had been brought in for questioning, Anderson was found burning in flames inside his car, not the Fiat, but a different car. And mysteriously, he had a 2-inch hole in the side of his head, which police concluded that the death was suicide after a pathologist said that the hole in his head was due to the intense heat of the fire after he set a light to himself. So,
wait, sorry, what? He had a hole in his head from the fire?
Yeah, which apparently was caused by the fire. He had a 2-inch hole in his head.
Where was the hole?
In his head. Like
What? I don't understand. It burnt
the fire
burnt a 2-inch hole in his head.
Yeah, that's what the findings were. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't understand I don't understand that, Oscar, to put it simply.
Neither do I. Look it up. That is what happened. There was a 2-inch hole in the side of his skull, and apparently that was caused by the heat of the fire. A pathologist said that. I don't know what a pathologist does, but I suppose they investigate fires.
Can a fire cause a hole in your head?
I mean, you can look it up.
It says usually due to flying debris, explosions, or falling structure.
Well, look up James Anderson, hole in his head. Fire.
James Anderson.
Anderson.
You'd think he'd just let you tell the story, wouldn't you?
I know.
Yeah. Do this to him next time he tells the story.
Yeah, I will. I'll correct him every word.
Do you know the reason, Roscoe?
He's about to show you up. Oh, God.
I'm not a fire specialist, so no, I have not done calculations.
It's going to be awkward. Will's going to love this.
Thing is, it does make sense now, okay? Because it says here, extreme temperatures shrink the scalp and boil the fluids in the bone, often resulting in severe heat-related fractures and of the skull cap. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. Okay.
Oh, so you're just accepting it now that you've looked it up?
Well, yeah, because when you said it,
I said that the fire caused for there to be holes.
Yeah,
which it did.
I know it.
You can add together pieces and come up with a conclusion.
But Oscar,
I gave you the facts.
No, but Oscar, you gave us a very fact that we both were like.
If I say Diana is
dead, we asked you how does that work, and you went, I don't know.
I don't
know.
Well, I think the thing is, Oscar, you've got to bear in mind that if me and Rhys had read that fact, we would look into how that works, because we'd be like, what? How does that work? So the fact you didn't look into it is quite surprising. So we assumed you just didn't look into it, I suppose.
If I look into every single thing in this case, we'd be here for 5 hours. So
No, but there's certain things that pique your interest. How does that happen?
I would read that and go, right, how's that happen?
If it said he had a 2-inch hole in his head and he was shot in the head, I'd be like, I don't need to look into that. I understand how that works. Right. If it said he had no skin left because he was in a fire, I'd be like, I can understand that. If it said he had no skin left because he got shot in the head, I'd be like, hold on, I'm going to look into that.
No, I don't know how your guys' thing works, but I can get a loose conception of how fire. If I've seen that a specialist has said that can possibly happen, I'm going to believe them. I'm not going to say no. I've got to look at that. I've got to make sure that they're not lying.
Yeah, you might be like, how does that happen? I'm interested because I've never heard of that.
I'm not saying.
I'm also interested how Diana died of her internal injuries. I'm not going to start learning biology to learn how her blood circulation stopped, how it caused a cardiac arrest. I don't know. Oscar, she died.
It's just, we're curious. Me and you're curious. We're curious individuals.
Obviously, you're just a sheep that just follows what people say. You don't question it.
Exactly. I trust professionals. That is what. And you guys should trust me because I'm a professional on this topic, and you guys aren't listening.
We are listening.
All right. Well,
if anything, we're listening too closely. We're listening too closely. That's our problem, really.
That's our problem.
Well, anyway. So now you've fucking looked it up.
Yeah. Okay. So that is. That's interesting. That is interesting. Yeah. So a dink on his car. Yeah, that is interesting. And then, I mean, look, it's.
I think
it is. Yeah, it's interesting.
If that one's got you interested, then let me go on to my next.
That one hasn't got me interested
because this one isn't.
Why has it got you interested?
Well, I don't know. It seems so like. I don't know, bit,
all right, listen to the next one.
Can I ask a quick question? I know, obviously, this thing crashed into a pole, but did they sort of see where the dink happened? Could they be like, I know this is all from the pole, but that is where the car dinked?
Oh, it was suspected it was the back. I think it was the back left of the Fiat, which was damaged. So
Okay.
that's where the contact point. So I think it was the front right and the back left of each car. Do you know what I mean? Can you see that? Yeah.
The front right and the back left.
The back left Fiat.
You mean the back left from my point of view, looking at the Fiat straight on, and the front right of me sitting in the car? Because the back, that wouldn't make sense. I mean, I assume that's what you mean. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense.
But how can back left be anything other than the back left of the car?
No, the back. If it was the back left of the Fiat, and the front right of the other car,
yeah.
That's
the car
not
has
possible.
one way. What? If you're sat in the Fiat, if you're in the Fiat, the Fiat has a way of driving. The left-hand side of that at the back, right?
Yeah.
And then you're in the Mercedes behind it. The front of the Mercedes
sorry. I was
right.
thinking that they were coming from other directions this whole time.
No, they were going the same direction.
Right. Okay. That makes much more sense. I was like, this guy's a fucking idiot.
No, one didn't like jump over the thing in between and crash into the other. They're on the same side of the road. Okay. They're going like
right.
this.
So this is the car going, then the Fiat's here, and it dinks it like that.
I think the Fiat's in front. So I don't know. Again, this is on witnesses.
It's weird. Why didn't the Fiat stop? Why did it keep going?
Well, exactly. And it is a crime in France to flee a scene of an accident, regardless of whether you're involved or not.
And there's a lot of paparazzi. Like, this is a dangerous thing to flee. Interesting that they fled. And I kind of forgot about the fact that it hit the car, which means that it could have definitely been. I mean, in my head, I was thinking, oh, it's the drunk driver. He doesn't even need to be drunk. That car could have just come along and just smacked him out of the way and caused the accident in the first place. They could have set up for the paparazzi to come and chase them and then the what? Oh, yeah, it was the Rolls.
Let me give you this next piece, which I think is extremely compelling. So,
okay,
a man called, well, I might butcher his pronunciation, but Lee Van Tan, I'll call him. He's Vietnam, or he was Vietnamese French. Is another owner of a white Fiat Uno that fit the description of the one involved in the crash. Multiple witnesses recall seeing a man matching his description exiting the tunnel just after the crash and looking agitated. Chemical paint analysis showed that his car was, in speech marks, compatible with the traces seen on the Mercedes and could have been involved in the accident. Tan told investigators he was on shift at the time of the accident and that another man was working with him, but he couldn't recall his name. Investigators never followed up on this alibi, and he was not questioned further. It was later discovered that he left work early that night and could have been going to his dad's house, who lived near the tunnel that the accident occurred in. Tan claimed he had the Fiat resprayed red a few hours before the crash and had the bumpers replaced. However, he did not give a reason as to why. Years after this, Tan's dad then said that this had actually occurred hours after the crash, as in he had resprayed his car red and replaced the bumpers after the crash, and that he woke his mechanic brother in the night to help him. So yeah,
that is strange. No,
I mean, that sounds like it was him.
I know.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And also,
Tan, mate.
Witnesses described the car fleeing the scene as having a large dog in the back, and Tan had a large, I think it was a Rottweiler or something.
Also,
which matched the description. Yeah. No.
Why did the police not follow up on his rubbish alibi?
Yeah, that seems weird. That sounds really weird. That's a weird part.
I don't remember his
this
name.
Was
Oh yeah, that's fine, mate. Like,
well, exactly. So I looked into this.
It's not like these are like Brazilian, policemen in the
yeah, well, because obviously these were the French authorities investigating it, and there was a large British investigation. I can't remember the exact name, but they had certain points that they needed to cover. And within that, they requested that the French police question this guy further, but they basically refused and they didn't. So,
well, maybe that's probably like a kind of like we're not listening to you. Like we've done it. That's probably like an ego thing, I would have thought.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems quite dodgy that he said that he got it resprayed and got the bumpers replaced, and he said in the hours before the crash, but for no particular reason. And then his dad then said a few years later that it was actually in the hours after the crash.
But
two things.
Mm-hmm.
First thing is that, okay, yeah, that sounds very plausibly it's him, but okay, so what? Obviously someone had to crash into the car. It had to be someone's white Fiat. To me, this means absolutely nothing. It's just, yeah, okay, so they found the guy who did it. So what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
My second thing is, I think it's just so, it's weird how they like didn't follow it further, and then when they hear about the dad, saying this, these are all such big grounds to reopen the case, I'd say, for such a massive case that's worth reopening, that they would definitely want to reopen. But, so yeah, that surprises me too, which makes me feel like the evidence actually wasn't that good against him.
Yeah.
But regardless, even if it was him, and we're 100% sure it was him, so what?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, actually, Ralph. Like, I think, him spraying his car and stuff is, like you said, it's a crime to leave a crash in France, and he's obviously been in a crash. Maybe he didn't want to. Maybe he's like trouble with the police. I don't know. He's it could be many things, but he doesn't want trouble, so he's like, right, I got to quickly just spray my car. He didn't. Maybe he didn't even realize it was Diana in there. It was just a crash that just happened, and he's just he panicked afterwards.
Yeah, and this also goes against the royal theory, because if we didn't know who it was, then it could have been anyone. It could have been someone hired. It could have been a spy. It could have been whatever. But the fact that we know who it is, or we think we know who it is, and there's no other evidence for him being hired or something like that, unless you're about to go, well, actually, and then give us a load of evidence.
He was given his bank account has 500,000 euros.
Oh, so why did you say like, this last piece of evidence will really make you think?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Oscar. Yeah,
because it is interesting. No one's ever been convicted of like this guy could have possibly basically killed Diana, and he's never been.
Yeah, but you were like, this is going to make you think. This changed my opinion on whether it was the royals or not.
I just think it was just an unfortunate accident, to be honest. Now.
Okay.
Like, Tan, he just didn't know what he panicked, mate.
All right. Well, I've got a couple more little things, but they're...
All right, go on. Yeah.
Not major, but maybe it will... I don't know. Well, there's the matter of CCTV, but this one doesn't really sway me much. But there are 14 cameras in the underpass where the tunnel was. None of which picked up the crash. This was a combination of the cameras being privately owned, cameras not being recorded, or such poor image quality and maintenance on the cameras that nothing could be made out. So there's that. Yeah. There's no footage of it. Next is the emergency services. So the total time it took from the initial call to the emergency services to Diana making her way into the hospital was about 1 hour and 40 minutes. The hospital was only 4 miles away from the crash. So many people claim that if she'd been rushed to hospital sooner, her life may have been saved, whilst others say that her internal injuries meant she would have died either way. But obviously this is to be debated, no one knows. Now, the reason it was such a long period of time to get her to the hospital is because the French method at the time was stay and play, is what it's called, which is where the priority is to stabilize the patient at the scene and then take them to hospital where they can receive further treatment, as opposed to, well, the English and I think most other countries' ways, which is basically get them to hospital as soon as you can. and this method has since been reviewed in France. I think it's been changed. So, yeah, there's that.
So, yeah. So when did the stay and play get introduced? Because I think they've been planning this for a while.
I don't know when the stay and play got introduced.
The 60s or something.
All right, we might need to kill Princess Diana. We might need to kill someone one day. So let's save it for this one opportunity.
Keep this on the back burner, boys.
And then there's one more. So, Dodi's father, so Mohammed Al Fayed, who was adamant that his son and Diana were killed as a result of the royal family. He claimed that he thought Diana may have been pregnant at the time of the crash, or just beginning a pregnancy, and it was used as another motive to kill Diana. He backed this up by pointing out that Diana's body had been embalmed the day of the accident to prevent any forensic or pregnancy testing or to interfere with it. The post-mortem examiner refuted that and said that the embalming fluid would have no impact on pregnancy testing. Prince Charles was scheduled to arrive that day to see the body, and it was deemed unacceptable that he would see her in the state that she was in. So the superintendent of police verbally authorized for the body to be embalmed, whereas under French law, paperwork must be completed before the embalming process is undertaken. But obviously this was only undertaken after the body had been embalmed. So there's that as well.
Okay. So firstly, with the second piece of evidence you gave there, what was that second piece again?
The embalming stuff.
No, the one before that.
The emergency services.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I think we can just completely disregard that. So yeah, that's what the emergency services situation was. All right. There's nothing you can do about that. Cool. Forget about it.
Okay.
What was the first one you gave?
What? That was the first one.
There was one before that as well.
Oh, the CCTV, which was stupid.
Yeah.
It's like,
interesting
CCTV cameras.
But also the cameras being shit, they were always shit. They were always going to be shit. So that means nothing. The ones that didn't work, there's something to that. But the ones that were privately owned, what does that mean? Could they not get the footage?
I think it just meant that they weren't really recording or running because they're privately owned. They're on their own private schedules and whatever. So they're not in control of when
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. They could have. But again, that's another person to bring into the conspiracy. So that's a really difficult thing to do. Yeah, if they are privately owned, whoever owns them would have to be told to switch them off at this specific time. Anytime you bring an extra person into something like this, you are just increasing the risk. And also, why does it need to be? Why does it not need to be filmed? For the whole accident that you've described, in what could be gained from a video of it? In theory, generally speaking, what could actually be gained? If it was filmed, what could you actually gain?
I think the widely accepted explanation for the crash is negligent and drunk driving. The collision with the Fiat is still, I think, disputed as to whether that was substantial, whether that was as a result of the drunk driving from Henry Poole. So video surveillance would, I guess, prove as to whether the Fiat made contact with the Mercedes or the Mercedes was driving recklessly, and
that's very true. Made
contact with the.
If you saw the Fiat swerve into it, for example, that would be pretty damning evidence that it meant to make it crash, which is if they were gonna cause the crash, they would do that, and they wouldn't want any cameras. It's just a bit. The fact that they would have to involve more people in this conspiracy is dangerous. But to be honest, if you're going to cause that crash, it makes sense that you would know that some security cameras are fuzzy. So that's fine. You would then somehow have to ensure that the other ones are switched off. It's very plausible. I
mean, the tunnel is an ideal place as well. You know, it's hidden. Well, more hidden than above ground. It's going to be less witnesses.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think, that's evidence for it to a certain extent, yeah. What was that last piece of evidence you gave?
About the embalming stuff and pregnancy.
Yeah.
Forcible pregnancy.
Nah, fuck that.
Yeah, it was.
Also,
It was
so
said
what? She was pregnant. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it was said that Dodie also was possibly thinking of engaging to her at the time. It was thought that actually on that day he went he was in a jeweller's and he bought a ring. Whether it was an engagement ring or not, people don't really know. But people say that he could have been thinking of engaging in marriage, which then people say that the royal family wouldn't want I think it was a Muslim man being the possible stepfather of a future king of England, which is why people say could also be linked.
I get that, but it's also, again,
it's also his stepfather. Like, you're really going to go to these
levels to
you're already quite separated from.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I'm not convinced, to be honest, Oscar. I think, to be honest, all the evidence you've told me, I think it was just an unfortunate accident, like I said at the start, to be honest.
Yeah, so overall, I would say this sounds like an accident. I think, yes, of course, the Royals have a lot of motive, but I think there's such little concrete evidence for them to have carried any of this out. I think there's pretty much almost zero concrete evidence. There's obviously things that could be, but they could easily also not be. But there's nothing that really strongly points to it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I, at the end of this, compared to the start, think it's more likely that it was an accident. Before this, I thought it was an accident, but I thought there was a good, I thought there was a chance that the Royals might have been involved. But now, I pretty solidly believe that it was an accident. The Royals weren't involved at all.
Yeah, I'm actually the same as well. I was like, yeah, I've heard, accident, but I've also heard about the, could be, and I was like, oh yeah. But now I'm actually just like straight up accident, to be honest. I think the fact, also, I think Rolf, you said it throughout the podcast, the amount of links there would have to be for all these things, like chains of stuff to, carry this through. It's just too much, man.
And the only sort of one that's the only sort of person that's spoken out about any of this is that one MI6 guy who got.
And he's an absolute idiot. Yeah, he got kicked out. He'd say anything. It's a big story.
What do you think, Oscar? Have we changed your mind?
No, see, I'm about, like, if I had to make a bet on it, I would say it's an accident, but I'd say I'm like 60-40.
Really?
60 accident then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
I'm pretty much 99%. Like, obviously you can't be 100% as well, but 99% is accident, to be honest.
Yeah, go on, Oscar.
That's kind of what I had to say.
Well, I just want to know, like, because obviously we've said our part. What, like, why do you think?
What? Yeah. What? Like,
what do you think is like a concrete? I said there's no concrete evidence. What concrete evidence actually indicating to you that the Royals had anything to do with this? I mean, 40% big chance.
Yeah, I just think so. I mean, the marriage was a lot worse than I initially thought. I thought they just kind of separated, but it sounds like they were destined to suck from the beginning. So that's sort of one thing. The second thing is, obviously, she had such a big influence on basically the world that it was such a huge issue for the royal family. And I know that this isn't evidence. It's just like, it's just more motive. But she had such a big influence on the royal family, and it went in a bad ways. And she was basically showing them up. And then her note, I think her note, even though you said it was and it could well be a coincidence. I just think that it's such a big claim to make. Like, if she was still alive today, would we be reading, like, I don't know, that's such a weirdly massive thing to say. When do you ever hear that with other famous people? No one else is famous.
I know what you mean, but after I like sort of went through it, I think it is not that insane a claim to make. Like you know, like you said, she is a bit mentally unstable, and like I said, the motive is huge, and she's also aware of how big that motive is, which is probably why she's, you know, you could be paranoid, and it's not from those steps. It's not that hard to make the leap that they're going to kill you in a car accident.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think that's much more plausible to believe that. I think like it's way more plausible that is what happened rather than, you know, like, because it's, you know, if I say, oh, I think I'm going to get hit by a falling rock tomorrow, and the rock falls on my head, I die. You know, I mean that's not exactly what the point I'm making at all.
Yeah,
but like, you know, it's just a coincidence.
I think it's the fact that she specified it, as in
you can find coincidences in everything.
No, I know, and I'm one of those people that think it's bullshit a lot of the time. But if I was her, I feel like I would have just put like, I feel like I'm going to be killed and it's going to be a cover up, not I'm going to be in a car crash and it's going to. I mean, I know she got like she said, the brakes and stuff, but I don't know. Is a car crash such a normal way to be killed? Like,
I think it is. If she's thinking, if she's so paranoid of thinking they're going to try and kill me and make it look like an accident. Like Roll said, I think car crash is, you know, one of your top threes: suicide, car crash, falling out.
Especially the idea of cutting the brake things. I've seen that. No, yeah. That's how you know. Yeah. Who was that guy who the guy from One Direction who they said, that's like another conspiracy theory. We can work on that one in the future. Where he fell out of a building. He fell out of a building on drugs, and some people think that someone pushed him out.
Oh, really? I didn't know that was a conspiracy.
Yeah, that's a conspiracy.
So I don't think it's that. You know.
I just think when you're paranoid, you're like thinking about these things, and like that. I've seen it a lot of times in a few different bits of media where they all, like, a way to try and kill someone is you cut their brake, whatever it's called, their brake lines, and then they go to press the brake and then they crash.
Yeah.
So it's you know, it's not. I don't think it's.
Just think in her situation with the paranoia, it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised that she wrote it.
Okay,
I think it's a weird as fuck thing to write. But
it's a very weird thing to write. But
you know, if
she's not in the right mindset, is she?
I do think as well. Like I don't know. Imagine if she was still alive. What would the dynamic be there? I don't. You know, it's weird to think, isn't it? Like, what would she be doing?
I wondered. I do wonder what
how would it work? Remarry, right?
I think she would have I think it would have petered out. People would have moved on, I reckon. I mean, like, the thing is, she was a thorn in the royal sign. Maybe it could have ended with the collapse of the monarchy, but probably what would happen, maybe she would have had another kid. She would have probably always been looked on fondly, always been a thorn in the royalty side. But, like, you know, Prince Andrew's a thorn in the monarchy and the royalty, and has been for a while. They still keep going.
I think the royal family have been still going, because you got to think as well, the people still love the royal. They love the royals, and they have even when I think even when Diana was, you know, whole split thing, I think the royals are still quite popular. Like, you know, it's a big tourism thing, isn't it? And seeing Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, I like the royal family.
I was looking, like, before this, I was just like briefing myself on Diana, just so I didn't look like an idiot and like know nothing about it. But
you did prior research.
Unbelievable.
No,
that is unbelievable.
I was like just seeing, like, making sure there was no, like, I didn't look like an absolute idiot.
I didn't do any prior research.
Look at him, you don't want to look like an idiot.
I'm talking about like 5. I'm talking about like 5 minutes.
Unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
To keep myself up, to update myself on the history of the royal family from 1950 to 1990. And it said something about how the royals took on a more like service level position, like more like a service to the country position after Diana's death, as a sort of, because they had been like the scandals of the 90s, especially with Diana's death and the divorcing and everything, paints them in a bad light. So with them being more serving the country and doing more charity stuff to try to save image.
Is that when like is that why William and Harry went into like the military then? Maybe?
Well, no, I think pretty much all the
they all do
tradition.
military.
Yeah.
They have lots of like Harry does lots of charity stuff, doesn't he?
I met Princess Anne. She did a charity thing. She opened
you didn't know who she was.
You didn't know who she
was?
No,
I didn't know. I was like 6 years old.
To be fair, like I don't know what most of them look like.
I shook her hand, and then she had his policeman with her. Like he was like I think he was like high-ranking police officer or something. And I was more interested in him. I was like, "You a police officer?" I just talked to him. I didn't know. I was like, "Yeah, get away, Anne, mate. I want to talk to the policeman."
That's funny.
Yeah, she was lovely.
All right.
Rolf met Prince Andrew when he was young. He was not lovely.
Rolf is Prince Andrew. All right. Well, we'll
anymore, actually.
We'll call it there, shall we? Well, we've got to do our words. So,
I said mine.
I've not said mine. I've been.
Oh, you guys fucking suck.
I've done it on every single one I've done it.
I think this whole case just reached its threshold.
It's a bit musty, isn't it?
Oh God, unbelievable!
I completely forgot.
Well, what do you think mine was then?
Fuck knows,
you
mate.
said a word a lot of times, and it was
no. He would have only said it once. He wouldn't have said it a lot. I can't.
I'll say this: when I said it, it flew way under the radar. You guys did not notice it.
Then we haven't got a chance.
Yeah, go on then. What is it?
Yeah, you haven't got a chance. It was linger.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm never going to get linger. I use linger in just combo.
When did you say linger?
It was such an easy one to slip in. I was like trying to think about how to do it, and then I was like, "Oh, I've got a way." And I was like, "So, like, after they broke up, did she like linger around the castle a bit?"
Oh, that now, yeah. That's
it fit really well. It did fit really well.
All right. Well done.
Well done, mate.
I've done all the other ones, so it's about time that someone else did it. So yeah. All right. Well, let us know.
I always forget that one.
Let us know if what your opinions are on this case, and subscribe if you like it. Don't subscribe if you don't like it.
Post your suggestions in the comment for what you want to see.
Any for future mysteries.
What do you want to see? Let us know, because I'm doing the next one, and I would love for someone to just tell me what to do, please. Thank you, because I don't know.
All right.
So get on that, please.
Right. You do realise we're going to have filmed your one by the time that this one comes out.
Yeah. Oh, well, maybe for your next one after that, Rhys. Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, well, see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Bye.